Hey everyone, I am Mary Beth McAndrews from Dread Central, and I am here with the director of The Mean One, Steven LaMorte. Hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm very excited to be here with you to talk about this incredible new horror film, perfect for the holidays. So many bloody horror movies coming out this year. I would love to hear from you first of why you wanted to tackle the Grinch in this new movie.
I've never heard that word before. I'm not entirely
Sorry, not the
sure
Grinch.
that to which
Inspired by the Grinch, perhaps.
our film, The Mean One, is
Yeah.
is coming to theaters this Thursday, December 8th. And I love Christmas, right? I've always loved Christmas movies, Christmas cookies, the songs, all of it. It's my kind of
Oh
my
yeah.
favorite thing every time of the year. Like I want to get the tree up as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Um, I'm one of those people. So I've always, and I love horror movies. I'm a genre film director. And so this is my first Christmas horror movie. But, for me, Christmas is not just, the cookies and the candy and the presents. Like for me, it's Die Hard, it's Lethal Weapon, it's Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes.
Those are the kind of movies that I love. And, you know, something, I don't know if there's something broken in my brain or as a child or whatever, but like kids cartoons, like especially the really old ones and children's books, those drawings really freak me out. And so, something like the characters upon which this movie is based, when I would look at that, I would say, this is really upsetting. And if we really thought about a green, furry, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, whatever you want to call it, that lives on a mountain and hates Christmas, is he going to be giving hugs and high fives? No, this thing is going to be eating faces and, slicing people up and causing mayhem. So that's what inspired the movie.
Incredible. And so obviously there probably were some challenges tackling the Mean One. And I was curious, like, what was that like kind of navigating the naming and all this kind of like the kind of the clever tongue-in-cheek ways that you reference other things, but don't actually reference them?
Of course. Well, look, parody is protected by the Constitution, and we are fall squarely within parody. But
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that it didn't require a certain elegant touch, I guess, in the crafting of the script, in terms of our set design, and kind of everything that we've done. And we love these characters. We love the source material. We would never want to denigrate it or confuse anybody into thinking that, this is something official and based on something specific. So it really took a lot of effort to kind of craft something that was more of a love letter and an homage and a parody than any kind of problem. But
Cool.
the screenwriters worked with me really hard, and we toiling away, and I feel like I've got a master's degree in copyright law, and yeah, we're excited to see the flick come out, because we just we really want to entertain people and kind of make them laugh, and that's what this parody is all about.
Hell yeah. And so, not to give any spoilers, but what is your favorite kill from this movie? Because there are quite a bit of them, but was there a particular one that you were super proud of being able to pull off, especially on screen?
My favorite kill from the film. My favorite kill would probably have to be, and maybe it's because it's the dumbest and the silliest kill. I don't know if it's been released yet, but there's the big sequence where the rowdy bunch of Santa Claus impersonators are rolling up on this bar, terrorizing this poor waitress, and they get what's coming to them, right? And there's this one character in the SantaCon sequence, we'll say he's a very inflatable character. And I had a specific desire. I said, I only want Santa Clauses for this. I want Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus, and that was it. I want a sea of red. And our producer, Amy Schumacher, said, who also plays Mayor McBean, said, yeah, she said, okay, I know you only want Santa Clauses, but there's this costume. Full disclosure, it's on sale. It's an inflatable Christmas tree. And you can't see it. You can't approve it. You have to just let him put it on, and then you tell me if you want it in the movie. And then Brian comes out of the bathroom in this giant inflatable Christmas tree, and he's like, what do you think, Steve? And I'm like, we need to kill this freaking tree. So definitely the Christmas tree is like my favorite, silliest gag in the whole thing.
That is incredible. Oh, I love that so much. And then how did you come around to casting David Howard Thornton, obviously of Art the Clown fame, but his physicality is incredible, and especially because I think you think of the Grinch, the long fingers, the grin, and he is so good at that. So what was it like casting him and getting him involved in this project?
Sure. Well, the I'm a fan of the Terrifier films. Obviously, I mean, if you're like horror, you're going to want to watch Terrifier. And the last one was, oh my God, nuts. Um, but I actually know the producers of Terrifier. So I've seen Terrifier movies, at least the first one anyway, probably more times than I care to admit, because I went to high school with those guys, me
Oh,
and
cool.
Mike and Steve. So, you know, we're all from Staten Island, Fuzz on the Lens, shout out to those guys. So I've seen Terrifier a bunch. And when we got the script and we started like evaluating, does our creature talk? How does he move? What does he look like?
Cool.
You know, it was, I want to say it was around, maybe it was around Halloween or whenever it was we were doing the casting. I was sitting with Amy and we were like, what about David to play the mean one? And I didn't know this, but David is trained as a mime. So in addition to being a fantastic
Isn't that
actor,
cool? He's like a clown. He like was a
he
legitimate
really
clown.
is. Yeah, he's like one of the few people I know that's like proud of being a mime, which, hey, more power to you. Um, but you know, and I approached him and I said, hey, here's kind of our spin on this classic tale. Loved what you did with Art the Clown. And, you know, here are my references and here's the script. And once he saw that kind of our love and respect for the character, and, you know, we chatted about some ideas he had, he was all in. He came to California. He sat through, God, I feel 4 or 5, 6 hours of makeup just to get this whole thing set up. And, you know, the very first day that we had him on set, because, you know, there's a bunch of scenes in the movie where we have David doing it, but it's a shoulder, it's a hand, it's a claw. The first day he had the whole outfit, the face, the teeth, the hair, the eye, all of it. He came on set, and aside from scaring the ever-loving crap out of the crew, he crawled out of the fireplace and he popped up and like gave like a laugh, and then he cracked his neck and made his own sound effects. And then I called cut and the whole crew just started clapping. They're like, this man makes his own sound effects. How's that even possible? It's in the movie. He's physically making his own like neck breaking sound effects. And we're like, what? That doesn't happen all the time. We're like, we knew we had something at that point.
That is so cool. That's amazing. And I was going to ask about the makeup, because I, like, again, he obviously does makeup for a long time, and but this is like very involved, full fur, full face. So like 4 to 6 hours of makeup, you said, sitting in the chair.
It was, yes. And they, you know, the makeup team, Tatiana, who, you know, kind of built and designed the face in the suit, and Ashley, who supported with all the gore and airbrushing and stuff. I mean, the two of them just did such a great job and made it a great environment for him. But one of the big things that I said was I didn't want to do a mask. You know, there was early iterations of the movie where, you know, we would see him less or we'd see him more. And I didn't want him to be static, right? I really wanted, you bring someone on like David, you want to see David, you want to feel his life and his performance. So it was critical to me that the suit and the makeup be made so that he could emote, right? And we did early tests. There's an early test footage that we did where we had teeth, and the teeth were cool, but it required so much visual effects to make him smile. And the mean one has to smile. He can't not smile. I send that gif all the time to my, like, you know, the mean one's got to, you know
that smile.
The mean one's got to smile. So it was important that it was built in such a way where he could emote, he could flex, he can smile. And, you know, the whole team, I guess, I don't think he knew that we were watching, but the first time he had the prosthetics on without the hair, he was just in the makeup doing like tests in the mirror to see like, what can I do? How can I emote? How can I manipulate my eyebrows and my mouth and my teeth? And we saw him doing that, and it totally shows in his performance, because like the man can't eat in the makeup. There's a lot going on there. It moves, but it requires some work, and he brings it, and he's awesome. He's great.
So cool. So what is your favorite Christmas horror movie, or like genre adjacent? We'll be flexible with genre definitions here.
Gremlins, hands down.
Gremlins, the best. The perfect entryway horror. I saw it when I was younger, and it's like just scary enough, but it's such a good movie.
And there's so much love in every frame, you know, with Gremlins. Like you can just tell between like the design and the way it was written, the way it's shot, the performances. Like when people ask like, what's the film like? They're like, oh, is the mean one like Terrifier? We're like, actually, it's much closer to Gremlins, right? Because it's you know, it's fun and it's outrageous. It doesn't take itself too seriously. And if you're looking for like a good time, chomp down with some popcorn, hang out with your friends, like Gremlins, the mean one, you're in the right. Not that the two films are you know, I'm never going to go near Gremlins. That's amazing. But I think tonally, you know, the both flicks are hopefully a good time and, you know, entertaining for sure.
And are you excited it's going to be in theaters that people can, like you said, like sit down in a theater full of people and watch a movie like this? Like, that's so exciting.
It's extremely exciting. We are, you know, this tiny little insane idea that I had 5 years ago, you know, it's was just a thing that, like, it was just an idea that I had, you know, that I pitched it to some friends of mine, like, oh, what if, you know, and it's like a monster and he's called the Mean One and whatever. And they were like, that's a great idea. You should make that. And I was like, no, this is like a silly joke that I would, you know, and it's always, whenever I would go into a pitch meeting, you know, I would pitch like, okay, we'll do werewolves, Western. And, you know, we've got, it's like Snow White, but, you know, lasers. And then there's, you know, and then there's like the Christmas monster or whatever. And, you know, it's just always a thing that just stayed in my head. And I never, in my wildest dreams, would have thought that it would, people would connect with it and that it would go as far as it has. But we just did our first, there was a secret screening at Seasons Screamings, which is a Christmas horror convention this weekend. Their secret screening was our film, The Mean One. So there was this packed house of people. They didn't know what they were going to see, although I think they had kind of figured it out. And they just loved it. They had such a good time. And it was like, as much as I enjoy streaming, and it is very comfortable to sit with my many cats and, you know, get food from the fridge. Yes, many cats. And get food from the fridge, you know, something about being in the room with an audience and having them, you know, cheer when a bad character dies or, you know, swoon when, you know, there's romance on screen. I mean, it was just a blast. And I, you know, there's not a lot of films, I think, out there that lend themselves to like a communal theatrical experience. And I think horror is going to save, I really do think horror is going to save the theatrical experience because it's communal. People want to sit together and watch them, all of them, the good ones and the bad ones.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Steven, thank you so much for taking the time with me today to chat about The Mean One. And everyone, go see it in theaters, please and thank you.
Please and thank you. The Mean One coming this Thursday, December 8th.